I'm going to show you how to find the measure of an angle when you are given that there's a relationship that's either alternate interior angles or alternate exterior angles. So looking at the diagram that we're given, I know that I have parallel lines here because of these symbols, and I see that they're cut by a transversal, so angles are formed. Now, the angles that are formed, it's important that I understand what their relationship is. So the two angles that I have that I'm highlighting in yellow now, those are alternate exterior angles. Exterior because they're on the outside of the parallel lines, and alternate because they are on opposite sides of that transversal. So what's important is that you know what the relationship is between those angles. So anytime you have alternate exterior angles, and the same goes for interior, they're congruent. Their measurements are equal. And so all we have to do to set up our equation is set those two expressions equal. So I know that the angle up top in the top left, -1 plus 14x, the measure of that angle is equivalent to the measure of the angle in the bottom right. So that allows me to just write an equation showing me that those two expressions are actually equal to each other, okay? So now if you know how to solve equations, the rest of it should be easy, but I'm gonna walk you through. So I wanna get my variable to one side, so I can either subtract the 12x or subtract the 14x. I'm gonna go ahead and subtract the 12x so that I can try to avoid some negatives. Going to bring down that -1. 14x minus 12x is a positive 2x. Going to bring down my equal sign. 12x minus 12x is 0, so I'm going to cancel it out because 0 plus 17 is just 17. And I'm trying to get that x by itself. It's easier to get rid of that constant first, so I'm going to do the inverse operation of -1, which is +1. But of course, I do it to both sides. Going to bring down that 2x, bring down that equal sign, and I have an 18 on the right. So my final step to getting that x by itself is to divide, and I get that x is equal to 9. But I am reading carefully and realizing that I am not done with my problem. The problem asked me to find, well, sorry, I didn't write the problem there, but if the problem asked you to find the measure of one of these angles, then we're not done, but we're almost there. We know what x is. We know the value of x is 9, but one of these angles, the value would be 12x plus 17. So now the nice thing is all I have to do is substitute x with the number that I found out it was. So I'm going to rewrite this as 12 times 9 plus 17. Multiply 12 times 9, that gives me 108, plus 17, that gives me 125 degrees. And if this angle is 125 degrees, then the angle up here is also 125 degrees. And of course, to check, you could substitute the 9 into this expression instead, just to make sure that it also gives you 125. Let's do another problem that has, it's also asking us to find the measure of an angle given two parallel lines. The way I know they're parallel is because of that symbol given right there. And this time the relationship is that they are alternate interior. Now they're inside of the parallel lines, but the relationship is the same. They're still congruent to each other. So I'm going to go about this the same way. Because I know that alternate interior angles are congruent, I get to set up an equation that shows me that. So 5x minus 20, which is the measurement of angle CBD, is equivalent to 3x plus 10 because those two angle measures are equal. Now I start solving my equation, so minus 3x on both sides. I get 2x minus 20 equals 10. I'm trying to get that variable by itself. It's easier to get rid of that constant first, but I don't have to. I'm going to bring down that 2x equals 10 plus 20 is 30. I'm almost there. I just have to divide by 2 now, and that gives me that x equals 15. Now again, I want to be careful and read my problem. I found the value of x, which is a great step, but the problem asked me to find the measure of angle CBD. So now I look at my diagram, CBD is this angle right here, which means they are looking for the value of 5x minus 20. Now in this problem, technically, I could substitute that 15 into either expression because the angles are equal. But you may have another problem where the angles aren't equal, so pay attention to which angle they're looking for. So 5x minus 20 is the value. I now know that x is 15, so I'm going to substitute x with 15 and now just do the math. So 15 times 5 is 75, minus 20 gives me 55 degrees. And you always want to make sure your answer makes sense too. So when I look back at the diagram, if it's 55 degrees, it better be an acute angle, right? So it's not drawn to scale. I can't get out my protractor and measure it, but it does look at an acute angle. So at least I know my answer does make some sense.